you have heard of the celebration of Diwali? Anybody? Alright. Well, Diwali is the Hindu celebration of the Festival of Lights. The story is similar to that of the folklore of Christmas in the sense that there's a story that's being told, and the celebration that follows is in honor of that story. The tradition behind it is very, very old. Hinduism goes back long before any other known religion, and the celebration and the story has been around since 350 BC. And in modern times, the way that we celebrate in the United States is very different, but at the same time still holds true to the traditions that we held in the past. The story starts off with Ram, who is the son of the king, and he was told by the king that he was going to be banished to the forest for 14 years. And the reason for this was because the king's wife, one of his wives, wanted her son to become king. So he had made her a promise years and years ago and had told her that if you ask me anything, I will grant you that wish. So she said to him, I want Ram to be banished to the forest. So he went, being the doting son that he was. His wife and his brother Lakshman followed, wanting to protect and keep him safe. One day, toward the end of their stay, Ram and Lakshman spotted a golden deer in the forest, and they had to go after it. They told Sita, stay in the camp, and they drew a circle around where she was supposed to stay, telling her that if she stayed within that circle, she'd be fine. But if she left, then they wouldn't be able to protect her. Now, Ravana is our villain in the story. Every good story needs a villain, right? So he was a 10-headed demon, an evil, evil man who lived on the island of Lanka. And he could morph into different shapes. So he morphed into the shape of a beggar and went up to her and said, could you please give me some food? And Sita, being a kind and generous woman, stepped out of the circle to give him some food. He kidnapped her, took her back to the island of Lanka. When Ram and Lakshman found out, they were furious, and they called their friend Hanuman, the monkey god, asked him, please, can you come help us save Sita? He agreed, of course. He lifted a mountain up on his shoulders, put it in the middle of the ocean so they could cross over to the island, and he and his monkey army walked over and went to go rescue Sita. A massive battle ensued, and eventually Ram pulled an arrow, drew it back, and shot Ravana through the heart, thus rescuing Sita. When they returned, the kingdom was so overjoyed that they lit candles throughout the streets so that they could find their way home, and Ram was crowned king. However, with every good piece of folklore and glory, one must come with a celebration in its honor. The traditional celebration involves having an altar set up and singing the Hanuman Chalisa, which is a retelling of the entire story that I just told you in about 48 verses of song. We light candles and give an offering of milk and honey to the gods. All of this is told to us in the Bhagavad Gita, which is accredited to sage Vyasa and was written in 540 BC. We write Om on a piece of paper 108 times, and there are no markers. Basically, it's like a big 3 with a tail and a little crown. But those away from the homeland often don't have a way of celebrating with a bunch of people. So we find our own way to celebrate. We gather in lavish parties and we all celebrate together, hoping to have some semblance of home together. We light candles in the streets to represent the offering that was done so many years ago. And children light firecrackers in the streets. And every child gets a gift, just one gift from the host of the party, to say that this year you get our blessing. However, last year we had our own Arthi, and unfortunately we didn't plan ahead. So when it came time to give an offering of milk and honey, We scrambled and found coffee creamer and maple syrup. We made it work. So Diwali is a festival and a vessel of togetherness. And it shows us that we can unite as one people over one thing. Diwali this year is on October 26th, and I hope all of you will wish your Hindu friends a Happy New Year. Thank you.